Good evening, you're watching Estuary News. I'm Luke Adams. In the headlines tonight, a woman suffers fatal injuries following a collision. A roundabout on the A18 is reopened ahead of time. How a homeless charity is working to strengthen inclusion ahead of City of Culture. And how well does your garden grow? And I'm joined on the server by Julia Wilson and Adam Tankard talking about teddies. And a little later, Elaine Atkinson will be talking pirates and poems. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Monday's programme. First tonight, a cyclist has suffered serious injuries after being in collision with a vehicle in Beverley. The incident happened at the junction of School Lane and Walkergate at around 5:15 p.m. on Saturday and involved a red Audi A3 and a silver pushbike. The casualty was a 50-year-old woman who is currently being treated for her injuries at Hull Royal Infirmary. The driver of the Audi, a 38-year-old Leeds man, was not injured. Humberside police are appealing for information after 3 children were chased across a playing field in Grimsby. The incident happened between 5 p.m. and 5:20 p.m. on Wednesday the 3rd of August near Carnforth Crescent. An 11-year-old boy and 2 friends were walking across the fields when they noticed a masked man who began chasing them. They ran to an unknown male close by and the suspect left the area. The boys were not hurt. The motive for the incident is not clear at this stage, but officers would like to identify the masked man and speak to him. He is described as white, short dark hair and was initially wearing a ski mask. He was also wearing a dark hooded top and blue jeans. Work has finished 3 weeks early on the new £1.3 million roundabout at Barnaby Top on the A18. It's now open to traffic as normal. Work started to build the new roundabout in February. This is a huge investment that will help improve safety and traffic flow at the junction, particularly for those travelling from Brigg to the motorway. Councillor Neil Poole, Cabinet Member for Environment at North Lincolnshire Council, said it's not been an easy scheme due to its location at a busy time and on the edge of Barnaby Village, but everyone has worked hard to get the work finished early. A Hull charity are hoping to take City of Culture experiences to the masses. The Hull Homeless Community Project say they've been speaking to the team behind Hull 2017 to put together a plan to encourage people such as the homeless or refugees to become engaged with activities.
I approached City of Culture a few months ago regards inclusion and involvement for everybody in the city in obviously next year's City of Culture, and it's something I feel quite passionate about, obviously, and to involve everybody in something is part of the ethos of 2017. So we are working together and we are going to look at inclusion and involvement for hard to reach members of the community in Hull, so that be that the homeless, maybe refugees, that kind of thing, and hopefully get round and deliver presentations to help show that everybody can be involved, and if they wish to be involved, be it as a volunteer or as a spectator, etc., how they can go about that and how they can be involved.
Replacing of the busiest roundabouts in Grimsby was a mistake, according to information in North East Lincolnshire Council documents. This is due to concerns amongst residents and ward councillors after anticipation that the traffic lights would be installed at Nuns Corner this summer. Lily Keane has more.
Ripping up one of Grimsby's busiest roundabouts to replace it with traffic lights was a mistake, according to recent information in council documents. The council has secured a staggering £4.2 million worth of growth funding to be used on junctions such as this one at Nuns Corner. A recent report has read, North East Lincolnshire Council has identified a preferred scheme to significantly enhance the capacity of the Nuns Corner junction to meet both current and anticipated future demand. This is to be achieved via signalisation. Delivery is anticipated to commence in summer 2016. The North East Lincolnshire Local Transport Plan is to allow a 6-week period of consultation from August the 8th to September the 19th.
More than 30,000 people descended on Hull Marina this weekend for the Humber Street Sesh. The one-day festival, which took place on Saturday, returned for a 5th year to celebrate the city's creative talent. Scores of local bands and acts kept the crowds entertained in the glorious weather, as well as street food and a silent disco. The Sesh was also the first event to make use of the area's new outdoor amphitheatre. The stage at the dock, the £700,000 350-seat venue, is situated in Hull's disused central dry dock and is being managed by the Freedom Festival Arts Trust, where the event will be next used for the Freedom Festival in September. The volunteers of Grimsby in Bloom have rolled up their sleeves to transform an overgrown garden into a miniature paradise at Grimsby Diana Princess of Wales Hospital. The volunteers have devoted their time to giving the garden a new lease of life for staff, patients and visitors to enjoy a secluded area of peace and tranquility. The garden officially opened today and is situated at the heart of the hospital. Our green-fingered reporter Fred McNamara went along to find out more.
Well, we're opening up our new Tranquility Garden that the volunteers of Grimsby in Bloom have developed for us. And the reason that they've been working with us and they've developed this garden is because one of our members of staff, who sadly died a number of years ago, her mum and all of the staff who this lady had worked with donated a bench a number of years ago as a reminder, as commemoration of a life well lived. And that bench has been in this particular area of the hospital, which is a lovely courtyard, for a number of years. And each time Mum came to visit that bench, the gardens were getting more and more dilapidated. So she told us that it wasn't in a nice state of repair anymore. And so we could have quite easily have moved that bench. But what we chose to do was work with Grimsby in Bloom, and we've created this wonderful garden and moved the bench to pride of place in the garden so that staff, patients and any visitors can come and access this garden and just spend some peaceful time here. It's just lovely.
Well, it was neglected, hadn't been maintained for a time by the looks of it, so when we first got here it was quite overgrown. The template you can perhaps see behind me now was all overgrown, so we cleared it back, got back to the original template, tidied it up, and as you can see, trying and revitalised it so the local residents and the hospital patients here can come out and enjoy it and be out in the fresh air, sit on the benches and enjoy the garden again.
Well, we have what's called the Health Tree Foundation, which is our charity that works with the hospital, and we work with a lot of volunteer organisations around the Grimsby and surrounding area, and Grimsby in Bloom were one of the charities and one of the volunteer organisations that came forward and said they wanted to work with us, and so we joined together and they've done such a wonderful job for us.
Grimsby in Bloom actively look for this type of community project. We do things all around the district. There's a very dedicated small team. Me being a gardener myself, I fit the bill. I joined Elaine and her team probably about 5 years ago now, after volunteering with Green Futures. That's where I met her, and since then we've done a number of projects across the district, generally tidying things up, making the place more pleasant, putting flowers and a bit of colour into people's lives.
Well, I think one of the things that I noticed as soon as I walked in was what a wonderful space it was, and actually something that I've walked past a number of times and never noticed before. So I'm hoping that it gets a lot of staff and patients come and use it, and what I'd like to see is in 12 months' time that all of the plants have matured and that it still looks a wonderful garden, and that we've been able to create a space where people use it and people know that it's here, it's for everybody to use.
The fact that it's brought back to life is what we want. We want people to enjoy the space. The patients come out here, sit in the shade, in the sun, wherever they wish to sit, enjoy the flowers, enjoy the peace and tranquility it gives, and hopefully improve their recovery and help them on their way.
Knitters and crocheters are being asked to come forward to help with Team Teddy. It's in aid of Operation Christmas Child, where one of the teddies will form part of a shoebox gift packed and sent with love to a child. Last year, more than 900,000 shoeboxes were sent around the world. To tell me more about it, I'm joined by Julie Wilson and Adam Tankard, who is the Regional Manager for Operation Christmas Child. Thank you both very much for coming this Monday afternoon armed with teddies. I can see on the table there. Julia, first of all, you're looking for knitters and crocheters. Why?
We're hoping to break the world record for the most teddy bears in a line, so we're needing help with knitting and crocheting the bears. We need 15,535 to break the current world record, so we're really needing the public's help on this one.
How is the volunteering drive going so far?
We're doing really well. We've already got in over 7,700 bears, which is wonderful, but we're not quite halfway there yet, and we've only got 41 days left. So we really need some help.
Okay, and obviously you have to have the skill of being a good knitter, I would imagine.
If you can knit.
Yeah.
I can do this.
I won't be nominated myself, I'm afraid, Julia.
Me neither.
Adam, but your role is quite important to this because it's part of, as I said in the link there, Operation Christmas Child. Tell me about the campaign.
Okay, so it's actually the world's largest children's Christmas charity. We send 900,000 boxes from the UK last year, but globally about 11 million shoe boxes went around the world to children in countries where they might not normally receive a Christmas gift. So it's an incredible project. It's been going for about 25 years now, and I think about 120 million children have received boxes since that time. So these bears would form part of a box that will ultimately reach children in Africa,
Absolutely.
in Eastern Europe, in South America, those types of places.
And putting a smile on their face on Christmas Day.
Absolutely. I mean, I had the privilege of handing some of the boxes out in Rwanda, which was just an absolutely incredible experience. The noise after we did the 3, 2, 1, open the lid countdown was just incredible. We were just hit with this noise of shrieks and shouts of excitement.
Juliet, how can people get in touch with you if they want to offer their services as a knitter and crocheter very quickly?
We're based at St Mary's Church in Barton, so you could pick up a knitting pattern from the church. There's always a supply there. Or we've got a Facebook group which is OCC Barton on Humber, so they could just pop along to our Facebook group and pick the pattern up, or if not they could give me a call on 07717 761 392.
Lovely, Juliet. Juliet and thank you both very much for coming in. I wish you all the best for the campaign. Join me after the break when we'll have more of the day's news headlines. See you in a couple of minutes. Welcome back. You're watching Estuary News. Still to come tonight, more of the day's news headlines, and I'll be talking pirates and poems with my second guest, Elaine Atkinson. Work is underway behind the scenes at Grimsby Hospital to refurbish the pharmacy aseptic unit. As part of the £1.5 million project, the existing unit facilities are being completely removed and a new suite of rooms constructed. The unit is used to prepare treatments in an environment that is free from bacteria. The products are prepared within a pharmaceutical insulator, which has its own sterile airflow. Specially trained pharmacy staff prepare a range of products for patients across both the Scunthorpe and Grimsby sites. James Hargreaves, Pharmacy Services Manager, said this is a really important development for the pharmacy department, the trust and patients, as it will allow treatments to be prepared in a new state-of-the-art environment under the best possible conditions. This September, the Links and Notts Air Ambulance will be celebrating their life-saving work during National Ambulance Week, along with more than 30 other air ambulances around the UK. As part of these celebrations, the charity is asking for real-life stories from people who have been rescued by the air ambulance crews. The stories of those people are essential for supporting fundraisers and volunteers in telling the tale of the vital service. Since 1994, when the charity was set up and the AmbuCopter flew its first mission, the Links and Notts Air Ambulance Charitable Trust has changed thousands of people's lives who've flown in the iconic yellow helicopter on their way to life-changing medical care at our local hospitals. If anyone wishes to come forward to share their story, that could be used in print and online campaigns. Email mystory@amucomputer.org.uk. Who do you think you are? East Yorkshire Family History Society may have the answer, as they're offering a free session on how to start or continue research into family history. The event will be held at East Riding Leisure Halton Prize on the 24th of August between 10 AM and 2:30 PM, and an appointment can be made by contacting East Riding Libraries. Creative youngsters in North East Lincolnshire can put their creative talents to the test as part of an annual poetry competition. The competition, run by Grimsby in Bloom, is now in its 6th year, and this year's theme is pirates. It regularly attracts hundreds of entrants from school children across the borough. I'm now joined by Elaine Atkinson, Chair of Grimsby in Bloom. Just yourself, Elaine, no pirates, I see.
No pirates, I couldn't find one to bring with me tonight, sorry.
But yourself is more than appreciated.
Thank
you very much for coming in. Tell me about the poetry competition.
Yeah, as I say, as you already said, it's our 6th year, and this year's theme is Pirates of the North Sea. So we want children to get involved, to use their imagination, to think about what poems they could put together that relate to the Pirates of the North Sea.
Okay, now I know I saw you back in July time.
Yes.
When the competition was first launched.
Yes.
How has the drive for would-be poets been going so far?
Yeah. Unfortunately, we've not had actually any sent in as yet, but we have got a couple of schools that are interested. They've already said yes, that when they go back in September, they will get their children involved with it. We've got the guide groups. They've already said yes, we will get our girls involved. So hopefully by the closing date, we should have quite a few entries in. Well, we're hoping so anyway.
Okay. When is the closing date, Elaine, for this competition?
The closing date is Friday the 30th of September. So children will have gone back to school. They'll still have a month near enough to get something down on paper.
A good couple of months to get those poems in and that drive to continue. What type of poems are you looking for?
Anything. Anything that the children can create in their own mind. It can be a rhyming poem, it could be like a slang poem, it could be anything that the children, as long as it's their ideas and they put something together, that's what we're looking for, to use their imagination, their creativity.
Because that's what it's all about, isn't it? Using youngsters' creative imagination, like you say, and, putting that down on paper.
Absolutely,
and actually thinking about, what they're writing.
Yes.
And
that's
that creative spark being
That's what we want to see. The young girl that won it last year, bless her, she wasn't getting on very well at school, and once she'd won it, her attitude to school and her performance just changed. It saw a big difference in her schoolwork.
Fantastic. Now, what is the winning prize?
The winning prize is a £30 gift voucher from Waterstones, who have been our sponsors for the last 4 years, so which we appreciate. So we've got £30 first, £20 second, and £10 voucher for the third.
Excellent. So some good prizes on offer there, Elaine.
Yes.
Well, I'm not sure whether I will be the winner, but I have compiled a little poem.
Okay, thank you.
So see what we think to this.
Is this my surprise?
This is your surprise.
Okay, thank you.
Shiver me timbers, there's a pirate at bay, but what does he want with his merry old way? A glass of port to steady the fort, but don't forget his fellow men visiting this land, who also need a gentle hand. Don't unearth the buried treasure, as it isn't for their leisure. Instead, a moonlight measure for old Jerry the sailor, left wailing in the chamber.
Oh, very good, Luke. Yes, that's very... I don't think you quite fit the age group.
But E for effort.
No, A-star.
Thank you very much, Elaine. I wish you all the best with the rest of the campaign.
Thank you very much.
Now it's time for all the latest news from the sporting world, courtesy of Lily Keane.
It's been a successful start to the new season for our local football side. You'll be able to hear from the new North Ferriby United manager Steve Howsham shortly, but first, Grimsby Town manager Paul Hurst has thanked the 6,000 fans that made Saturday's atmosphere amongst the best he's ever experienced at Blundell Park. The Mariners beat Morecambe 2-0 thanks to goals from Caden Jackson and Ben Davies, and the manager says it was almost the perfect start to the new season.
It was a great start for us. The day, near enough, everything went to plan. Just Josh's sending off at the end. It's probably the only downside to it all. A fantastic occasion, I think, for the football club. Fans turned out in the numbers. Were very vocal. Created one of the best atmospheres I've been involved with at Blundell Park, certainly. And hopefully we can have many more days like that throughout the season.
Meanwhile, Hurst says that centre-half Josh Gowling sending off has refocused his aim to bring in a new defender before the transfer window closes.
Josh's suspension, means we're down to 2 recognised centre-backs for the game at Derby, and that's something that I think over the course of the season we can't allow. And we're asking for trouble if that's sort of the state of play at the end of August, so clearly that's one area I'm looking at.
The Mariners are now preparing to travel to Championship side Derby County in the First League Cup first round tomorrow night. And there'll be more on the build-up to that game in tomorrow's show. Scunthorpe United came from behind to win their first game of the season. They were 1 behind the newly promoted Bristol Rovers, but thanks to goals by Kevin Van Veen, Josh Morris and Kyle Wooten, the Iron won the game 3-1. They're in League Cup action tomorrow at home at Notts County. North Ferriby United kept a clean sheet in their first ever game in the National League. Their opponents Braintree Town reached the playoffs last term but couldn't break through the Villagers' defence, including on loan Hull City keeper Rory Watson. Here's what Steve Howsham had to say after the game.
Great to get a point on the board. It's the hardest one to get on the board. It could have gone either way in the end. I thought it was a fairly even game in spells. I thought we was a bit nervous to start with, which we it's bound to be. Some young lads out there stepping up to the National Prem. But as the game grew on, we grew into it more, and we started to relax a bit more. Second half was a bit the same, you know. We was a bit nervous on the ball, and our negatives was we gave it away a bit too cheap. You know, and like you say, we had the other half chance second half. They probably had the better chances in the second half, and like I say, could have snatched it right at the end. But the players put the bodies on the line, you know, and that was a pleasing thing. Right at the death there, where they've had 2 shots within a space of, I think it was in the 90th minute, and you know, that's what my teams are about. They'll dig in until that final whistle gone.
On to rugby now, and Hull FC centre Kirk Yeaman says he can't make excuses for their loss to Castleford on Friday night. The Black and Whites went down 30-16 after a poor show defensively and some dynamic offence by the visitors. And Yeaman says they were outplayed by Darryl Powell's side. And finally, a Josh Mantello-inspired Hull Kingston Rovers side beat Batley Bulldogs in their first game of the Super 8 qualifiers. The wingers scored 22 of the Robins' 58 points in the 58-18 win. And finally on to tennis, and Beverly Kyle Edmund has just been knocked out of the men's Olympic tennis competition in the last half hour. He lost 6-4, 7-5 to Japan's Taro Daniel in Rio. And that's all for the sport.
Yesterday was International Friendship Day, a day to celebrate friendship. I've picked out a couple of my favourite snaps with a few of my favourite people. Here's one with a few of my very own Golden Girls, a friendship that stood the test of time for 28 years, and with my very best friend, Luscious Law Lollipop of London Town. That's just about it for tonight. If you have a news story, then please visit our Facebook or Twitter pages or email news@estuary.tv. You can also phone our news desk, which is a Grimsby number 01472 31553. You can also put pen to paper and write to us at Estuary TV, Nuns Corner, Laceby Road, Grimsby, North East Lincolnshire, DN34 5BQ. Thank you very much to my guests today for joining me on the sofa, and as always, thank you for watching. Join me same time tomorrow when joining me on the sofa will be Andrew Aldis talking about a seaside motoring event. Until tomorrow, from all of us on the team, good evening.
With university courses on your doorstep, there's lots of reasons to study at the University Centre Grimsby. Sponsored by the University Centre Grimsby. With university courses on your doorstep, there's lots of reasons to study at the University Centre Grimsby.
Good evening, you're watching Estuary News. I'm Luke Adams. In the headlines tonight, Dong Energy backs out of a £450 million development in our region. Concern grows for a missing Cleethorpes woman, a warning to fly tippers in Hull, and a new facility to serve the renewables industry. And keeping me company on the sofa tonight is my guest Andrew Aldis as we talk classic cars. Hello, good evening, welcome to Tuesday's programme. First tonight, Dong Energy has announced today that it will not use the Able Marine Energy Park in North Killingham to develop its work in the energy sector. Timescales and too much money have been blamed for the collapse of the £450 million development. Deputy Leader of North Lincolnshire Council, Rob Waltham, said that despite the news, North Lincolnshire Council remains positive and continues to work with the government and Able UK to secure other potential investors. Police are becoming increasingly concerned for a missing Cleethorpes woman. 31-year-old Donna Purvis, who is 5 months pregnant and is also known as Britta, was last seen by her partner at around 3:15 p.m. on Sunday afternoon. It's believed she's still in the Cleethorpes area, but despite extensive searches by officers, she is yet to be located. She has an American accent. Anyone with information about Donna's whereabouts, or if they saw her on Sunday, are asked to call Humberside Police on 101. Next this afternoon, 3 key witnesses are being asked to come forward in relation to an alleged assault in Hull. The incident took place at the Portland Hotel on Paragon Street in the city centre just before 9:30 p.m. on Sunday. An 18-year-old man was allegedly assaulted by another man in the reception of the hotel. The victim sustained several injuries, including a head injury and bruising to his right forearm. He received treatment at the Hull Royal Infirmary. A 23-year-old man was arrested on suspicion of assault and released on police bail, pending further inquiries. Humberside Police are keen to speak to 2 adults and a child who witnessed the assault through the hotel's glass window within the reception area before flagging down a passing police patrol. Hull City Council are attempting to crack down on fly tipping. From yesterday, the council are releasing CCTV footage and images of fly tippers so that the public can help in identifying them. It follows the launch of Operation Stop the Drop last month to help tackle the crime. Councillor Martin Mancy explains the magnitude of the problem.
500 tonnes of material a year is a lot of rubbish to be lying around the streets. And we're seeing everything from mattresses, 3-piece suites, televisions, refrigerators, almost anything and everything you can imagine just being dumped on our streets, making the place look untidy, creating health and safety hazards. And at a time when council finances are under such pressure, as I say, costing £250,000, which could be far better spent on other services. We provide 3 household waste recycling centres in the city to which people can take their rubbish. We also offer a free bulky item collection service. So really there is no excuse, absolutely no excuse. Now some of the fly tipping, we believe, is not individuals. It's perhaps individuals who've paid rogue traders, given them £20 or something like that to take the rubbish away. These unlicensed rogue traders take the money, take the rubbish, drive around the corner and dump it.
New research from the homeless charity Shelter has revealed that over 40% of working families in Yorkshire and the Humber are just one paycheck away from losing their home. The research shows a staggering 344,000 people wouldn't be able to afford their rent or mortgage for longer than a month if they lost their job. These findings mirror recent government figures, which show there are 16.5 million working-age adults in the UK with no savings at all. High housing costs remain a major area of concern for most working families in the region, with almost half saying housing puts the biggest strain on their household budgets. John Bibby, policy officer at the charity Shelter, said that unless the welfare safety net is protecting and improved, there is a serious risk that more people face homelessness. 1 in 2 people are affected by cancer, with breast cancer being a major concern amongst both women and men. Mutations in the breast cancer gene, otherwise known as BRCA1 and BRCA2, can increase a woman's risk of developing either breast or ovarian cancer. Local resident Zoe Metcalf was diagnosed with the BRCA2 gene after her sister was diagnosed with cancer last year, as well as their mother. Zoe is currently raising awareness of the genes through funding and research and has teamed up with Cancer Research UK to help spread awareness. Lily Keane spoke to Zoe earlier about her story.
My mum's got the BRCA2 gene, so that meant that me and my sister, you have a 50-50 chance of it being passed down to your children. And I was tested in November last year and I was tested positive. My individual risk at the moment is about 70% for breast cancer and about 10% for ovarian cancer. I wanted to sort of make people aware more of the genetic side as well, and you know, there might be people out there that obviously haven't been tested yet, or you know, there might be some history, family history, but they've just thought, oh, it's a coincidence, or you know, because we did, because my mum first got cancer 13 years ago.
Because I had it 13 years ago, there wasn't any testing automatically then. It's changed now, so that if you have a grade 3 aggressive cancer now, breast cancer, they do test you for genetics. So I think that's the reason we want to support cancer research, because
it proves as well how quickly they've come for, you know, how they do move forward as well. You know, it proves that all the money that's being raised is obviously being spent wisely and well, and they're actually advancing, you know, a lot from what we've seen 13 years ago. So that's sort of really positive, and if we can obviously help support that, you know, however little it is or whatever, then you know, that's like fantastic.
The BRCA1 and 2 gene, that was before Cancer Research UK merged back in the 90s. It was founded basically because of our scientists and researchers. The BRCA1 gene was found, and then mid-90s was the BRCA2 gene, and in the financial year 2015-16 we invested about £33 million in breast cancer research. So I've supported Zoe. I met Zoe a number of months ago, and her ambition scared me, but scared me in a good way, because we want to work with ambitious people. So I've kind of given Zoe a little bit of guidance and said, you know, maybe that's a good idea, maybe try this, or you know, maybe not do this just yet. And yeah, she's been a real pleasure to work with, and I can see the real passion that she's got for Cancer Research UK because her family have been affected.
August Bank Holiday Sunday, the 28th of August, 11 till 6 at the Linden Club, which is Clee Road in Grimsby. And we've got absolutely loads of attractions, and from like five-a-side Zorb football, where you like in Zorbs. We've got a huge 14-foot outdoor pool table that you actually stand on and play rather than with a queue. We've got like bungee trampolines, loads of different attractions. The venue's putting on a barbecue. We've got lots of different stalls. We've got Cast Theatre Company from Grimsby that are doing some musical theatre, dancing and singing, etc. We've got Lincolnshire Heroes walking around like Sand Trooper and, you know, characters and everything. And we're selling wristbands for the day, so it's the £5 pre-sale, £8 on the gate, under 16s are free, and they can be bought at Cleethorpes Tourist Info, Solid Entertainments, and the Linden Club, or people can contact us directly on Facebook, etc.
Classic cars are set to be the star attraction at a weekend-long car festival in a seaside town. There'll be all kinds of vehicles in Bridlington, from smart cars to supercars, at the event in September. To tell me more about it, I'm delighted to welcome my guest today, Andrew Aldis of Bridlington Spa. Andrew, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
The inaugural Bridlington Weekend of Motoring.
Yes, but it sort of comes out the back of a weekend of Porsches that we used to have, where we'd invite Porsche owners to come and park them outside the spa, and people would look, and we'd get like 100 with one Maserati that we wanted to kick away, but Porsches. And we just thought this could be much, much bigger, and we could have all kinds of cars. And because Bridlington is such a cool place with an old town and a new town and everything, we could put cars all around. So imagine nice vintage cars up in the old town, classic cars around the spa, luxury cars up at Sewerby Hall, a stately home, four-wheel drives on the beach and beach buggies, and supercars up on North Marine Drive where there's lots of space to see, that kind of thing. So using the whole town to showcase cars.
When is this event, Andrew?
It runs over 3 days.
Okay.
So we start on a Friday night on the 23rd of September, and that's just like a big get-together at the Park and Ride in Bridlington. Just bring a car down, there'll be food vans there, and there's nothing particular organised except people come and park, we walk around the cars and go, oh, look at that, you've got fancy wheels. Then on the Saturday, there's a cavalcade through the town of all the different cars that have come to join us, and then everybody goes off to where they're going to display their car for the day. And then in the evening, there's a dinner where the keynote speaker is Perry McCarthy, who was the first Stig on Top Gear, the one that dived off the aircraft carrier in an XJS. And then on the Sunday, an economy run where we brim me a car with petrol, you do 85 miles, we brim it again, see how much petrol you've used, and then whoever used the least, they're the winner.
So a weekend event. Andrew, stay on the sofa because we'll talk more about it in part 2, if that's
Cool.
okay.
Yep.
Join me after the break when we'll have more of the day's headlines and all the latest sporting action. Welcome back to SU News this Tuesday evening. Still to come tonight, more of the day's news headlines and all the latest news from the world of sport. Walking shoes at the ready for the Barton Walking Festival in September. Various walks have been organised as part of the festival, giving people the chance to explore the historic landscape and wildlife havens of Barton upon Humber. The event runs from the 5th to the 11th of September, and the walks include Nordic walking, a ranger ramble and even bat walks. Alternatively, people can explore the town at their own pace with one of Barton Civic Society's walks, which include Georgian, Waterside and Victorian, starting at various prominent points in the town. The usually closed historic buildings of St Peter's Church, Ty White Hall and Joseph Wright Hall will be open to visitors for the annual Heritage Open Days from the 8th to the 11th of September. North Lincolnshire Council has set up a Children's Literacy Trust that will launch in October. It's part of the Festival of Skills and Opportunities. The trust will inspire children and their parents to develop their literacy skills and raise awareness of the importance of literacy. It will be a charitable incorporated organisation with a board of trustees who will be from a range of areas, including business professionals, community representatives and people from the voluntary sector and schools. The North Lincolnshire Children's Literacy Trust will work alongside the Imagination Library, dedicated to raising literacy levels for children in North Lincolnshire. Planning consent has been granted for a new 1,430 square metre training workshop to be constructed to meet the growing demand for skilled staff for the energy, chemicals and engineering sectors. The new facility will increase provision for apprenticeships, helping local people to access long-term careers in these and other sectors. A range of partner agencies has secured almost £3.9 million to expand the training provision at Catch in Stellingborough, where Fred McNamara brings us this report.
HCF Catch delivers training within the engineering, energy, process and renewables industries. And as has been seen over the recent period, there is an increasing need for highly skilled individuals. And HCF Catch is integral to developing that need for the future for the region.
The raw material that we have to work with is the young people of the area, and the young people of this area is the future. And this particular building, together with the new facility, is the future for this area. We hope to have the whole thing up and running for a new intake of students in September 2017. So that is how I feel as though this will benefit the area by increasing the opportunities for the young people to gain gainful employment.
Well, the new build has workshop facilities, classrooms and office space, which will help us to increase the capability we have here at Catch. We support the delivery of training in terms of adult skills, but also in terms of apprenticeships, and our apprenticeship numbers are holding steady and if anything they're increasing at the moment. We offer apprenticeships in mechanical, electrical, instrumentation and process operations. And it's those apprenticeship needs that we're fulfilling, hopefully, with this new building.
At the moment, of course, it's quite a modern type of industry that we've got here. Renewables is although it's been tested a while, in this area in particular, we're concentrating quite a lot on maintenance and operation with the windmills, which means that they've got probably a 60, 70 year lifespan. So the people that we're training now will be looking, but we're also looking obviously towards the future, because we'll carry on needing training and training and training, because I believe that that is one of the areas that we've been quite successful in maintaining an industry that's got quite a considerable lifespan.
Well, obviously the training for the local young people is essential to help in regeneration of the area. But obviously with the influx of the wind regeneration industry coming into the area, they also need the skilled labour, and HCF Catch are able to help provide those skills.
Well, we've spent a lot of time designing this building to make sure that it is focused around the student. So the workshops will have some equipment that is relevant to their needs. The classrooms have been developed specifically for the needs of the learners, so that it's going to be a really exciting, buzzing environment for learning.
I'm still with Andrew Aldis telling me about the inaugural weekend of motoring events in Bridlington next month. The economy run on the Sunday, Andrew, sounds exciting. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, that is an 85-mile run around the East Riding, taking in 1 or 2, 10 or 12 sightseeing hotspots. So we brim your tank with petrol at the petrol station in Bridlington, and off you go. You can go at the speed limit or slower, drive carefully, drive harder, however you want. You've got 4 hours to complete it. We think it'll take 2. And you do the full 85 miles that takes you past the fabulous War Memorial by the wind turbines and down to Hornsea and all the way around. I've driven it myself. I've got an old MG midget in it.
The event's free to the public, Andrew, isn't it, on
Yes.
this weekend? Just quickly recap when the event's taking place.
23rd, 24th, 25th of September, free to the public. And if you want to show your car, then it's just £5 or £2.
Where can people find out information?
Bridspa.com.
Excellent. Andrew, all the best with the event. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you.
Now, all the latest news from the world of sport, courtesy of Lily Keane.
Grimsby Town boss Paul Hurst said he doesn't expect to make too many changes tonight when they travel to Derby County. The Mariners are at the Championship side on the back of Town's opening league day win over Morecambe, and Hurst says he won't make wholesale changes.
You know, it might be a case of changing 1 or 2 round for the reasons mentioned, and what I want is as many players available to me for the Wycombe game. That's not, you know, we're not in a position where I can change everyone round, and ultimately I want to go on and try and make it as, you know, a competitive game as possible against Derby. They're clearly a fantastic team with a big squad. I don't know what they're going to do, but if they want to change sort of all 11 round, I think they can pretty much do that. But some excellent footballers there, so it's going to be a tough ask, and you know, a lovely pitch. We've got to be organised and disciplined if we're going to have any chance at all in the game.
Scunthorpe United are in League Cup action too. They'll once again be without last season's leading goal scorer, Paddy Madden, when they host Notts County at Glanfield Park. The Iron are also hoping to make a new signing within the next 24 hours. According to reports, they're chasing Wigan Athletic midfielder Sam Morsey. Suggestions are that a fee has been agreed between the two clubs. There's a Yorkshire-Lincolnshire clash in the National League. North Ferriby United are making the trip down the A15 to take on Lincoln City in their first ever away game in the top tier of non-league. Tonight's opponents are also the first fully professional side that Ferriby have come up against competitively since their 2015 FA Trophy win over Wrexham, and manager Steve Hausher says he has a game plan.
That's where shape and discipline comes into it, and you know, you don't go chasing all over the park and wasting energy. What these full-time players can probably do, and they should be fitter than us. But you know, that's why we've gone and got a mixture of, well, a lot of youth in. I think if we look at our average age, it must be well under 23, 22, and you know, it's a great opportunity for these young boys. And you know, I'm loving every minute of it, and I will do. And so should the players, and so should the fans.
The game could also see expert and Alboyne defender Liam Slade make his debut for the Villagers. Hull City will be led into their first game back in the Premier League by last season's assistant manager Mike Felon. The former Manchester United member was Steve Bruce's assistant, but will now take charge of the game against Leicester City on Saturday, following Bruce's departure last month. He reportedly had a 2-hour meeting with the club's vice-chairman, Ahab Alam, yesterday. Lee Radford has named Mahe Funua, Fatuli Taluna and Liam Watts in the Hull FC side to face Widnes on Thursday night. The trio all missed last week's defeat to Castleford, but are deemed fit enough to be in the 19-man squad. In one other change, Dean Hadley comes in for Jordan Abdul, who misses out. And finally, some local cricket. Cleethorpes were our only winners on Saturday when they thumped Rotherham Town by 10 wickets, with overseas player Wesley Marshall hitting a 59-ball century in his first home match for the club. Elsewhere, Appleby Froddington lost to Whitley Hall, Stamford Bridge beat Driftfield and Harrogate came past Hull. And that's all from the sports.
That's it for tonight. Time has beaten us once again. If you have a news story, then please visit our Facebook or Twitter pages or email news@estuary.tv. You can also phone our news desk, which is a Grimsby number 01472 31553. That's 01472 31553. You can also put pen to paper and write to us at Estuary TV, Nuns Corner, Laceby Road, Grimsby, North East Lincolnshire, DN34 5BQ. Thank you very much to my guest today, Andrew Alder, for joining me on the sofa, and as always, thank you for watching. Just quickly, time to tell you about the Car Festival again in Bridlington. It's taking place on the 23rd and 25th of September in Bridlington Town Centre, and let's hope there's some sunshine and lots of classic cars. Join me same time tomorrow when keeping me company on the sofa will be Alan King and Vince Marchant of the Grimsby Cleethorpes Lion Club telling me about a waiter's race. Sounds interesting. Until tomorrow, from all of us on the team, good evening.
With university courses on your doorstep, there's lots of reasons to study at the University Centre Grimsby. Sponsored by the University Centre Grimsby.
Hello and welcome to Estuary TV's weather. Any early evening showers will die out with long clear spells expected overnight. Northwesterly winds will fall light inland, but remain brisk near coastal headlands, feeling cool for this time of year and a minimum temperature of 7 degrees. A dry start for tomorrow, but scattered showers will develop by midday, these becoming locally heavy during the afternoon. Sunny spells are expected between showers, moderate or fresh northwesterly winds, and a maximum temperature of 20 degrees.
With university courses on your doorstep, there's lots of reasons to study at the University Centre Grimsby. Sponsored by the University Centre Grimsby.
Good evening, you're watching Estuary News. I'm Luke Adams. In the headlines tonight, a pilot has a lucky escape, a damning report from the CQC into a local NHS trust, a cash boost to improve parts of Lincolnshire, and how a homeless charity is taking to the streets. And keeping me company on the sofa tonight are Alan King and Vince Marchant, talking waiters and waitresses. Hello, good to be with you this Wednesday evening. First tonight, Hull City Football Club is set to close. The Alams have been in talks with a Chinese consortium about the sale of the club. However, a number of obstacles need to be dealt with before the deal is ultimately sealed. And Lydia will bring us more on this story in the Sports Bulletin later in the programme. The Care Quality Commission has ruled that the Humber NHS Foundation Trust requires improvement. The Trust has been rated as inadequate for providing services that were safe, effective and caring. In the report, the CQC identified that some clinical teams had high vacancy rates and a number of teams were operating below the staffing levels that the Trust had determined as being necessary, particularly causing a problem in mental health crisis services. The Trust was also failing to provide sufficient training opportunities as staff didn't undertake basic training or receive support for personal development. Next this afternoon, a pilot has had a lucky escape after his light aircraft crashed earlier today. The RNLI received a distress beacon alert at 11:30 a.m. this morning, which indicated that someone was in difficulty off the coast of Widensea. Rescue teams were immediately sent to the scene, and whilst undertaking the search, the UK Coast Guard received a 999 call from the pilot reporting that he had been able to clear himself from the wreckage and make his way up a cliff to a nearby house. He was the only person on board and is currently being assessed by the Yorkshire Ambulance Service. A man has been taken to hospital with serious injuries following an assault in Grimsby. The 28-year-old victim was approached by a group of 3 men known to him who arrived in a car and are said to have assaulted him. The incident happened at around 6:30 a.m. this morning in Humber Street in the town, and officers remain at the scene. The victim is being treated at Hull Infirmary, but his injuries are not believed to be life-threatening. A fire broke out at the Deep in Hull this afternoon. It started in an electrical cupboard behind the coral display at lunchtime. The centre has remained closed for the rest of today and tomorrow, and tonight's Twilight Times event has been cancelled. Humberside Police would like to speak to a man in connection with the theft of diesel from a petrol filling station. The man was driving a silver Hyundai Coupe, displaying false number plates and filling the vehicle with almost £100 worth of diesel on Maybury Road in Hull. He then reversed off the forecourt without paying and left in the direction of Marfleet Lane. Anyone with information that would identify the man in the image is asked to call Humberside Police on 101. Bringing the beach to Bransholme today. That's the message, as an event which is now in its 11th year has become a bit of a cornerstone in the summer calendar. Despite it being nestled on the Hull estate, it has all the feel of the seaside, complete with donkeys, ice cream and even a sand beach. We start by talking to the founder of the event and former Lord Mayor of Hull, Councillor Anita Harrison, on why the event is so important for people on the estate.
Some of the kids on the estate can't get off the estate during the summer holidays. You know, the parents can't afford to take them off. It's quite expensive. So 11 years ago we decided that we would bring the beach to the estate, and it's just got bigger and better. And as you can see, the kids are loving it.
How successful has this event become then in that 11 years?
It's become really successful because it's been copied everywhere. You know, right through the town, East Park, other up north. You know, North Hull, they're doing it, so which is great. You know, you get a good idea, let's copy it, let's do it, yeah.
Well, we've got the beach, as you can see. We put all the buckets and spades on it and the windmills. We've got rides, donkey rides. We've got climbing wall, we've got police here. It's all free. The councillors pay for this. Councillor Harrison and Councillor Clark, they pay for it all. The only things they have to do is feed and drink, that's it. And then at the end of the day, hopefully they've had a good day.
Everything that we're doing today, the money will be going back into this charity, which is being dealt with by the Lord Mayor and Urban in the area. Yes, everything we do. Because I think in life you've got to give something back. You know, and no matter how small a thing, whether or not it's trying to do what we're doing or just trying to make people happy, you know, I just think it's so important. We have to be there for one another. And in business, that is even more important. And that's why I think I'm still in business after all these years.
Parts of the city are envious what we get. We always do lots of events on the estate. They're always successful. That's not being big-headed. That's because we've done it a long time and people come. You know, they know that when we put a show on, it's going to be a good show. We don't like failure, and at the end of the day, like today, it's for the kids. It's not for the parents, it's for the kids. But we class it as a family day out, so we expect the parents to come with the children. You know, so we just hope everybody has a real good day.
Just to clarify our lead story, a deal to sell Hull City Football Club is close, not set to close. Now, the next stage of the £1.6 million improvement works for the A1079 Hull to York Road near Market Wheaton gets underway this evening. The third phase of the 15-week scheme will involve the resurfacing of the A1079 between the western end of Shipton Thorpe and Hayton and will be done in 2 stages. Work will be carried out tonight between 7 p.m. and 6 a.m. Monday to Friday to minimise the disruption to traffic. During the nighttime work, traffic lights will be in place and a convoy system will be used to ensure the safety of the workforce. A 30-mile-per-hour speed limit will also be in place. East Riding Council contractors began work on the scheme to resurface the 12-mile stretch of the Hull to York Road in June. The whole scheme is planned to take 15 weeks and will be completed by October. The A1079 Road Improvement Scheme is the first to be funded following the Council's successful £16.7 million bid to the Department for Transport. The funding will be used on a programme of works to improve the condition of A-roads in the East Riding over the next 5 years. Next, a homeless charity is aiming to take to the road, courtesy of a mobile catering van to feed the homeless in Hull and the surrounding area. I went to speak to Andrew Smith to find out more about the project in the shadow of Beverley St Mary's Church.
We've been running since 2010, but we've been a charity for the last 12 months. And basically it's a fresh, new, different way of looking at difficult issues in our city and how we can tackle them, but involve the community in that.
Now, I believe you're looking to set up a mobile van.
Yes.
To cater for the homeless community of Hull and Beverley.
Yeah.
Why do you feel that is important to do?
Well, it's something we've thought about for a while now, and we've shelved it on a few occasions, and we keep coming back to it. The thing we always think about is access to services, and we always talk about access to services, be it mental health or drug support or whatever, but really it's the same for the support services such as the charities and the kitchens and all the rest of it, and we really want to be best placed to get to as many people as possible. So when we do run a kitchen or an information point or an access day, we're static and we're in one place. So we thought, well, if we have a vehicle and a van, then we can be anywhere we need to be in the city, and we can be in various locations on the same day. So yeah, it's something we keep coming back to, and we just think it's a really new, different idea, and again it's something that's not been done before, so we're quite excited to get it off the ground. We're currently fundraising to pay for it, obviously. Unfortunately, these things cost money. We are looking into some funding bids as well. The problem with a lot of funding bids is funders, they want it to be a new vehicle, etc., etc., so then that puts the price up. So we're at a stage at the minute where we have a certain amount of money saved up ourselves, and we're just looking at whether do we use that and buy something second-hand and cheaper, or do we let sponsors help us and look at it that way. So really it's a big drive and a big planning phase for the next 6 months to really make sure we get it right and do it the right way, so it helps as many people as possible.
How big a problem is homelessness in Hull and the surrounding area?
It's huge, and I think for Hull being not the biggest city in the country, we do have a lot of people that are in need of support and services. We do know we get a lot of people that come in from Leeds and Manchester and other cities as well, because Hull is very welcoming and friendly and nice, and there is a lot of support for people. But it is a big problem. It touches on many different subjects, and we were always keen to make sure we explore those subjects, be it mental health or family crisis or depression, even substance abuse and alcohol, anything like that. We find young adult homelessness increasing, obviously with the economy, the job market being so difficult, people really struggling to get on the housing market, etc. There's a lot more people at a very young age ending up in quite tricky situations, which is sad to see.
And my final question, what do you think, in your opinion, can be done to change homelessness, to get people away from being homeless and into loving, nurtured environments?
I think the onus is on the community as a whole. I always say, again, homelessness is such a stale subject because it's been around for hundreds and hundreds of years, but I think with anything shifting society and social structures and stuff, that also affects the homeless communities as well. And I always say there's nothing, you shouldn't underestimate the power of a conversation. And to be able to give someone 5 or 10 minutes of your time, to even just share that you might care and you're interested, can have a huge effect on somebody. And if we can pick people's hope up and their sense that things might get better, it's got to be a step in the right direction, I think. So I think a lot of it is just love and compassion and consideration and conscience and loving where you live and loving everybody in the place that you live.
Welcome back to SU News this Wednesday evening. Still to come tonight, I'll be talking to Alan King and Vince Marchant about a race on Cleethorpes Beach, and Lily Race is in with all the latest sporting action. Residents from across the East Riding are being asked to give their views on the council tax support scheme. East Riding Council is in the process of reviewing the scheme for the 2017-18 financial year and has to carry out a public consultation on any changes it wishes to make. It's proposed that the maximum rate of council tax support available to working age households, which is 75% of the bill, remains the same for the 2017-18 period. The council is also proposing to change the way it assesses claims, making it in line with the government's changes to housing benefit assessments. The consultation will run until the 16th of October, and residents are invited to visit the council's website to give their views. A final decision will be made at a meeting in January. An internationally renowned Hull author is bringing culture to the city a year early. David Mark has written a new book based around the city streets, which has been made exclusively available in Hull until tomorrow. Dead Pretty is one of his McAvoy series.
I wouldn't be able to write the books that I write if Hull wasn't the central character in it. I wrote books set in other places that never really had that kind of integrity or authenticity. I was a journalist here for a long time, so I see the city through that lens. And when you're writing books about rather dastardly bleak deeds, it helps to have that reservoir of experience to draw upon. Well, one of the more bizarre ideas that we had earlier in the year was to have a murder map online, so that people who have embraced the McAvoy novels can actually see this the geography of Hull and how I've used it, and how, you know, there's a good chance that I've put a body in your living room at some point on a fictional level, and we've kind of rolled that out now, so you can actually pick up a very shiny, glossy leaflet with an actual trail on it, and you can go down and tick off things on this trail and really get to know the city as seen through the eyes of my lead character, McAvoy. So it's like a fish trail, but with more corpses.
After an absence of many years, an old seaside tradition is about to be resurrected on Cleethorpes Beach. The Cleethorpes Grimsby Lions are holding a waiters race later this month. And to tell me more about it, I'm delighted to welcome my guests today, Alan King and Vince Marchant. Thank you very much for coming in, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Tell me about this race, first of all.
It's on the 21st of August at 2 p.m. The course is 250 metres on the sand. You have to carry a tray with 1.5 pints of liquid in 2 glasses. You must, at the end of the race, have at least half a pint left to progress to the next round, either another heat or the final. The cost is £10 to entry. If you can get sponsorship as well, it'd be ideal for us. The more money we make, more goes into the community.
Okay, so all the money raised from this event, then the £10 entry, that goes back into the Lions Club, which ultimately helps support the local community you serve.
That's correct, yes,
it?
yes.
Yeah. How is some of that money spent?
Well, no end of ways. People probably say they need a washer or a refrigerator, and we help them that way. Or we've even helped the hospital with various things. Send people on holidays who have never been on a holiday with a family. So, in many ways, we can support them. You know,
and keeping it in the community and
absolutely also local area.
Yes, and providing a lifeline.
Well,
to these people who
in some cases, people
support.
Say a family gets moved from a abusive home somewhere out of the area, they might require furniture. So we supply the furniture from our lockup.
Okay.
If not, we can help buy the stuff they need.
Yeah.
Christmas parcels for the elderly.
Christmas is coming very thick and fast, isn't it?
It is, I'm
now,
afraid.
I said in my link there, gentlemen, that this event on the 21st of August has been absent from the calendar for a number of years.
Oh, yeah.
Why is that? And secondly, why did you decide to resurrect it?
Well, I think it's an old-fashioned type of thing, and we've looked at a lot of modern things, and we found that this was an old-fashioned one where it's a fun day and you can bring the family and everyone can join in. You haven't got to be a waiter, or you haven't got to be a waitress. You can come along, fill the form in, and take part in it.
So you're not looking for any specific skills?
No, just be able to run.
And a little bit of...
And make a fool of yourself, in theory.
Make a fool of yourself, absolutely fine, but a little bit of fitness and physical agility
that's
is
right.
relatively
It's on the
important.
sand, so obviously a bit heavy to run.
Yeah.
But it's not too far.
Okay.
250 metres, it's not too bad.
Okay. So the ultimate prize then for the winner, so I'm assuming that they have to get to the finishing line.
Yes, they do.
With the full pint and a half.
No, just half a pint.
Okay, half.
And they win, the prize is £50 for each, man or lady, 2 races. Then there'll be also a prize for the best dressed waiter or waitress.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if not, they just come in shorts or flip-flops, whatever they want to come in.
Fantastic.
There's no limit to whether a waitress or just man off the streets. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Just come and enjoy yourself.
What interest has this generated so far, gentlemen?
Quite a bit. Quite a bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that because it's been absent or people
I think
enjoy that
we
competitive?
think so, yes.
And the average person can join in.
Yeah.
And you haven't got to be a whiz kid with any computers. You only need to be able to run with a tray. And balance a glass.
Good.
And, like that.
Yes.
Or 2 hands or 1 hand, whichever you fancy.
Yeah. So
it's your choice.
A steady hand.
It does help. If not, you'll be out.
A steady hand. And at least it's only water what
That's
you're
right,
supplying.
yes. Colour water, yes.
Yeah.
That's all.
Okay. Well, I wish you all the best with this event. Maybe it will become an event in years to come.
We hope so.
Who knows?
If this one takes off, we can do it next year as well and make it maybe a bigger event.
Okay. I may
That's the
see you on
plan.
Cleethorpes Beach on the 21st of August
Yes.
with a steady hand. Gentlemen, all the best.
Do you want
Thank you very
the
much indeed for coming in.
contact
Thank
details?
You. We'll put them on our Facebook page.
That's fine.
And then people can get in touch that way.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Indeed. Now, Lily Keane brings us all the latest sporting action.
We've been told today that the sale of Hull City Football Club is close. The talks between the current owners, the Allen family and a Chinese consortium are thought to be at an advanced stage. The Hull Daily Mail are reporting that a brother and sister-led group visited the Tigers training ground in Cottingham yesterday, but that a number of obstacles still need to be overcome before the deal is done. The club has been up for sale since 2014 when chairman Assem Allen failed in his attempt to rebrand the club. Grimsby Town were knocked out of the Football League Cup in the first round as Derby County earned a narrow win at the iPro Stadium. The Mariners, playing their first game of the competition since 2009, produced a good performance and contained their championship opponents for much of the contest. Town boss Paul Hurst says that his players were disappointed to crash out on a promotion favourites Derby County, but says that he was proud of his players' efforts. Elsewhere, Kevin Van Veen scored twice in extra time at Scunthorpe United, knocked out Notts County 2-0. It took North Ferriby United just 20 minutes to concede 4 goals in their first National League away game at Lincoln City. The Villagers went down 6-1 in the end at Cecil Bank last night, and manager Steve Halsham had this analysis say post-match.
Man against boys, you know, the first 20 minutes was the telltale of the game, and it killed us off. Poor defender, but Matt Reid, you take your hats off to him, and he's an handful, and we didn't deal with him right. We stressed all along, you know, what he can cause, and he can cause problems. You know, in spells, you know, we kept trying to play. That's all I asked for him, to try and play football. But you know, at 4-0, 20 minutes gone, you just want the ground to, you know, give you a big hole, and I think all the players did as well. But, you know, end of the day, we got told, I spoke to a lot of people during the summer, yes, we've lost and we will lose games, but we've lost 3 points. You know, we've only lost 3 points against a very, very good side.
Former Grimsby Town duo Nathan Arnold and Bradley Wood each scored for the Imps. Curtis Bateson netted for Ferriby. And in more non-league news, Cleethorpes Town will travel to face Nottingham's side Dunkirk in the next round of the FA Cup on 20th of August. Goals from Alex Flett, Kane Winfarrer and Andy Taylor earned Cleethorpes Town a deserved 3-1 win in the FA Cup at Rainworth Miners Welfare. On to rugby, and Hull Kingston Rovers interim manager James Webster has named his 19-man squad for their game against Leeds. He's just made one change from the side that beat Batley last weekend. French international Kevin Leroy has come in, replacing Joe Cater. Meanwhile, Hull FC are preparing to take on Widnes Vikings tomorrow. Reece Hanbury and Chris Dean, two of the Vikings' key players, are out through injury, whilst FC come up against former player Aaron Jeremiah. And that's all for the sport.
That's it for tonight, I'm afraid. If you have a news story, then please visit our Facebook or Twitter pages or email news@estuary.tv or phone our news desk 01472 31553. You can also write to Estuary TV, Nuns Corner, Laceby Road, Grimsby, North East Lincolnshire, DN34 5BQ. Thank you very much to my guest today for joining me on the sofa about the forthcoming waiters and waitresses race on Cleethorpes Beach, taking place on the 21st of August. Contact details quickly if you would like to take part in that. Grimsby and Cleethorpes lionsclub.co.uk or phone 0845 833 1802. Join me same time tomorrow for another live show when I'll be joined on the sofa by Shirley Goodsell as we journey through Hull's Old Town. Until tomorrow, good evening.
With university courses on your doorstep, there's lots of reasons to study at the University Centre Grimsby. Sponsored by the University Centre Grimsby.
Good evening and welcome to Estuary TV's weather. It will remain cloudy for most of tonight with some outbreaks of rain, persistent at times and heavy over the Pennines. Winds will increase toward daybreak, becoming gusty across the hills and a minimum temperature of 12 degrees. Tomorrow we'll see some outbreaks of rain through the morning, but becoming drier through the afternoon with some brighter spells in the east, gusty winds at times, especially across the hills again, and maximum temperatures of 20 degrees.
With university courses on your doorstep, there's lots of reasons to study at the University Centre Grimsby.
Good evening, welcome to SG News this Thursday evening. I'm Luke Adams. In the headlines tonight, a new generation of steel workers, a serious collision near Scunthorpe, fashion prowess and legacy games. And keeping me company on the sofa tonight is our very own Lily Keane. Hello, good evening, welcome to Thursday's programme. First tonight, a 21-year-old Scunthorpe man has been arrested on suspicion of causing serious injury through dangerous driving following a collision on the A18 near Gunnis. Officers investigating the collision between a blue Audi A3 and two cyclists are now appealing for witnesses to come forward. All three were travelling westbound towards Gunnis village near Scunthorpe. One of the cyclists, a 42-year-old local man, was taken to Hull Royal Infirmary with life-threatening injuries, where he remains in a stable condition. The second cyclist was also taken to Hull Royal Infirmary, where he was treated for minor injuries. The driver of the Audi was uninjured. The 21-year-old arrested in connection with the incident has been released on police bail to a date next month. British Steel are recruiting a new generation of steelworkers by taking on more than 100 trainees. The young recruits, aged from 16 upwards, are joining the company this summer in a variety of roles at the company's operations in Scunthorpe. They include 46 apprentices, 17 graduates and 7 people enrolling on the degree apprenticeship scheme, joining scores of undergraduates, with many of them likely to join British Steel full-time when they've completed their degrees. Human Resources Director Paul Martin says they're extremely proud to be recruiting so many young people to the business who are the new generation of steel workers. Hull remained closed once again today following a fire which broke out yesterday afternoon in an electrical cupboard next to the Penguins. The Penguins are said to be doing well and have been checked over. Thankfully, no one was injured during the fire. Last night's planned Twilight Times event was cancelled. The visitor attraction is expected to reopen to the public tomorrow. Kevin Bond is to step down as Chief Executive of Navigo tomorrow. He announced in March that he was to leave the mental health service following a dispute over funding. He stated that the organisation would be unable to run a good service in the future if more funding is not made available. The organisation claims it's been forced to spend nearly all of its money held in reserve and has overspent by more than £650,000 for 2 consecutive years due to an unequal treatment of mental health. 3 days of sporting action have been taking place in Beverley as competitors with a range of disabilities embark on the town to compete for medals. It's hoped it'll help to increase their interaction skills, their fitness and most importantly their confidence. We've been along to Longcroft School in the town to catch up with the story. We begin by speaking to Adam Swan from the Sport Playing Arts Service at East Riding Council about what events have been happening over the last 3 days.
We've got competitors with a range of different disabilities that are taking part in a variety of different sporting activities over the next 3 days.
Okay, tell us about some of the activities.
We've got track and field events, so they've got running events, throwing events, target events. They've got disability-specific events as well, so they've got some boccia and curling. They've got a football competition, they've got darts competition. So various different things from all to get involved in, so it's great few days. They're all inclusive, so all the sports, everybody here can have a go at them at their level, so it's all appropriate for all of them, and all their results get combined for the service scores, so everybody that takes part, the points that they accumulate are all contributing, so it's always a service-wide whole, so it's really good.
This is just a wonderful event. It's a real highlight of the calendar for day services, and it's the 4th year we've done this now, following the Olympic Games in London, and it coincides with Rio, but there's just as much excitement and enjoyment going on here today.
They're all inclusive, so all the sports, everybody here can have a go at them at their level, so it's all appropriate for all of them, and all their results get combined for the service scores, so everybody that takes part, the points that they accumulate are all contributing, so it's always a service-wide whole, so it's really good.
Isabel is a veteran of the Games, having competed in many sports during previous years, and she says she loves taking part.
I think my family, my brothers and my sister-in-law will maybe enjoy me when I got a lot of medals.
Yeah. Have you done really well then?
Yeah.
And you're looking forward to the next few days as well?
I hope so. I hope so.
Residential has offered a fun-filled camping trip for local young carers to step away from their busy lives at home caring for loved ones. Supported by the Young People's Support Service, the day involved a climbing wall, a football pitch and even a bouncy castle, as well as a place to socialise with other children similar to themselves. Our very own Lily Keane went to find out more.
I'm here today at the Young Carers Residential Fun Day, which is run by the Young People's Support Services. And it's a day which allows young carers to have a day full of relaxation and fun with activities such as a climbing wall and a football pitch. So let's have a look around at what the day has to offer.
It's really to give the young people, because they're all young carers, some time out of their home lives, give them a bit of respite, let them be children, let them have some free time, and just to enjoy the holidays really, because they might not be able to do that at home. They all just get on with their peer groups, they don't really talk about what goes on at home for them, they just have some time out, all get together, but there is that kind of common understanding that there's something going on for them all at home, so they do have that appreciation.
Why do you think it's important that you come and enjoy these fun days and get away from having to care for somebody?
Well, you socialise with people, meet new people.
I think it's so you get like more time away from the people that you're caring for.
And do you find that you make friends here as well in a similar position to you, and it's good to sort of talk about those similar experiences?
Yeah.
Yeah, you get to meet people like yourself instead of different people.
Yeah. And do you enjoy the activities that are on offer here today, like the climbing wall and the bouncy castle and football?
Yeah, it's fun.
And you've camped over as well, have you?
Yeah.
And what was that like?
It was quite fun, but it was noisy.
Was it noisy?
Hard to put up tents as well.
Yeah. And do you think you'd come to one of these fun days in the future if they were to hold another one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all put the tents up, we all made tea, we all camped over, we all like to muck in with them. I'm not too sure about the climbing wall though, I'm a little bit tired, but I might give it a go. You never know. Each year we do some consultation work with them, so we'll ask them what they like about the project, how we could improve, anything they'd like in the future, and they always say they want to do this again. Sometimes for 2 nights, sometimes for 3. Last night they asked us if they could come for a week. Might be a bit tired. A week's pushing it a bit, but we could obviously do more than 1 night if we wanted to.
A successful day here at Cherry Garth, which allows the children to come and enjoy themselves, relax and just take a breather from their busy lives at home.
And joining me on the surface to talk a little bit in more detail about that package we've just seen there is our very own Lily. Looks like you had a good day there today.
Yeah, it was great. The weather not so great, but the day itself was fantastic. So much on offer for the children. It was good to see everyone getting involved and having fun.
Good turnout.
Yes, definitely.
Now, you explained in the package why this event was taking place.
Yeah.
Why do you think it's important for young carers to have some fun and also be rewarded for their hard work?
Well, it's amazing how much hard work they have to put in at home for the families or parents or friends who they care for. So it's so nice that they can sort of escape from that and forget about their busy lives at home and enjoy themselves and just really get involved and socialise with the kids similar to themselves, so they can all share experiences and help each other. And yeah, they were all having a great day, and it was so nice to see that. Yeah.
And obviously, a lot of the time, the young carers are the unsung heroes, which often go underrepresented, and they don't always often, come together. So you said that event there helps the young people come together and get involved with lots of fun activities, including a spot of rock climbing we saw in the video.
It was quite tall, actually. I was quite surprised.
Very tall.
Even the little ones were getting involved and going up to the top. I was thinking I could not do that.
So you didn't take part in the rock climbing, Lily?
No, I did not. I just spectated.
A spectator of the show.
Yeah, videoed the rock climbing. Didn't actually do the rock climbing.
Well, I was going to say you would have been more braver than me, because I don't think I could have taken part in any form of rock climbing or any other difficult sport. How about the bouncy castle?
The bouncy castle? No, I did not go on that either. But yeah, the bouncy castle looked fun. They were all getting involved and having fun on that. It was such a shame it was raining though, because, but it didn't seem to bother the kids. You know what kids are like. They were still, getting in and
this event took place in Humberston.
Yes.
And I believe it was supported by the Young People Support Service, which, pardon my ignorance, but I don't know very much about what they do. Do you know what the Young People Support Service do, Lily?
Yeah, well, I've actually worked with them myself personally. So they work with young people, and I took part in a scheme back in November 2013 called the Young Reporters.
Okay.
And that was run by the Young People Support Services. And that was all about challenging the negative stereotype that young people have within the media. So because I was interested in journalism and because I wanted to practice my journalism, I took part in the scheme, and that allowed me to write monthly columns for the Grimsby Telegraph. About topics that meant something to me. So I think some of my columns I spoke about mobile phones taking over young people and like
because we live in a very technological, advanced climate now, don't we? And
that's right,
mobile phones and technology have seamlessly taken over our lives.
Yeah, especially within young people as well, and social media is so dangerous as well. So one of my columns addressed one of those issues, and it was just really fun working with other young people that were interested in writing columns and journalism as well. And yeah, I had a fun 3 months with them, and it was good to be a part of it. So yeah, they're a great organisation.
Because a lot of the time, Lily, I'm no longer a young whippersnapper, but young people can be very disengaged with society and disenfranchised. But gold star to the young carers out there. It looks
Yes,
like you had a
definitely.
great day. No rock
Yep.
climbing. Maybe next time. We'll maybe do some
Maybe.
training together and we can find
Yes.
somewhere we can do some rock climbing, sweetheart.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll race you to the top.
Thank you very much for joining me on the sofa.
Thank you very much.
Join me after the break when we'll have more of the day's news headlines, and our very busy Lily will bring us all the latest sporting action. Welcome back. You're watching Estuary News. Still to come this Thursday evening, showcasing historic cycles and mixing fashion with charity. And Lily brings us all the latest news from the world of sport. This week is National Allotments Week, and a mental health service in Ashby is celebrating with a bumper harvest of fruit and vegetables. Service users, staff and volunteers have given the Sandfield House Allotment Garden a new lease of life by creating an oasis of tranquility and therapeutic support to everyone who visits. Manager Sue Watson says mental illness can be very isolating, and gardening is a great way to give service users a sense of purpose and structure, as well as an opportunity to connect with others. Runner beans, onions, chilies and peppers are just some of the produce being harvested, along with a wide variety of flowers. A mindfulness garden has also been created, planted with willow arches and fragrance plants for service users and staff to sit and reflect. Hull's Street Life Museum is redisplaying over 175 years of local cycling history in its spruced up exhibition. The cycling gallery contains rare early examples of cycles, including a hobby horse and Victorian penny farthings. Jocelyn Anderson-Wood explains what's on offer.
It's particularly important to the history of Hull because for a while in the mid-20th century, Hull was known as Cycle City because there were just so many bikes around. So just this gallery shows the history of cycling in Hull, but that reflects the national story as well. One of my favourites is this one, which is the Charterley racing bicycle from 1923, which kind of shows how ever since bicycles began, people have wanted to go faster and faster and faster. So this one has been bought and had optional extras put on it, which include wooden rims, which would just make it that little bit faster, so that it could just win in time trials or on cycling tracks, because actually Britain didn't have a long history of road racing, unlike countries like France. So it would be in time trials or in track racing where this bike would really come into its own.
Sunshine, sparkling champagne and serious style was the order of the day yesterday, as the region's most elegantly groomed ladies and gentlemen came out in full force for Ladies' Day. The annual event, now in its 24th year, took place on Beverley Westwood, with the first race kicking off the day's events at 2 p.m. Retro girl band Tootsie Rollers provided the day's musical entertainment, and former Coronation Street actor Ryan Thomas made an appearance to congratulate some of the day's best-dressed ladies. Meanwhile, St Andrew's Day's Hospice played host to its very own Ladies' Day in Scartho yesterday. The charity is raising both money and awareness of its services within the local community. The day involved treats of afternoon tea, cake bites and its very own fashion show, which modelled clothes that can be bought at the St Andrew's Hospice charity shop. Lily went to find out more.
It brings the name of the hospice out into the community, where they rely very heavily on community involvement, fundraising, things like this. I would reckon most of the ladies here today are from around our little shop in Scartho, and they do shop regularly in our shop, and so this is a nice way of a get-together to demonstrate how our clothes, what kind of clothes we have at the hospice shop, and so therefore it's like it's a selling bee, if you like.
Oh, it projects what the hospice does as well, and how they interact. It isn't a sad place at all. There's a lot of social activity goes on in an attempt to raise money.
You know, it's all these little fundraising events all over Grimsby and the area that help to support the hospice. And in total, they raise millions through people like ourselves and like these good people are here today.
I think it's very successful, yes. You know, they've made a lot of effort. cakes and things are wonderful. They've all been homemade, so they're really, really nice, yeah.
If it's a success, and we've asked for feedback, if it's a success, we will probably think around Christmas time of having maybe a coffee morning, mince pies, carols, that kind of thing. And clothes, of course.
Very successful.
Well, it seems to be. I think the food helps. The food, by the way, was made this morning. The scones were fresh baked this morning by one of my ladies, and the cakes, all the cakes were home baked by another of my ladies. So the dedication is superb. And we have a major prize from the Rose and Crown have donated a meal for two with a bottle of wine. So you can't ask for more. It's really been well supported.
Now here's Lily once again with all the latest sporting action.
Protests are planned by a group of Hull City fans against the current owners of the club. The Hull City Supporters Trust have announced they plan to hand out red cards to be held up prior to kick-off and again on 19 minutes and 4 seconds, paying homage to the year the club was founded in 1904. They're also set to have a number of banners in the ground for the Tigers' first game back in the Premier League against current champions Leicester City. In a statement released by the Trust, they say they want to bring national attention to what they call a shocking mismanagement of the club and pricing out children, seniors and the disabled from attending matches, and the club eradicating reference to the word City followed their failure to change the club's name. Jordan Clark is predicting a tough game against Fleetwood on Saturday. He says he's impressed by their passing ability and that they need to be at their best to pick up the 3 points.
It will be a tough game. They play some good football. They've obviously got a really good manager at the minute as well. And we know all about Fleetwood. They like to get the ball down, pass it and keep it and penetrate. So they've got a few new additions. They've got a new big striker and stuff. So it's going to be different attributes to handle. But I feel as though we can go there. We're in good form, and as long as we keep our solid base and keep scoring the goals, then I'm sure we can get the win.
Meanwhile, manager Graham Alexander has been reflecting on his time in charge of Saturday's opponents, Fleetwood. The Scot spent 3 years at Highbury Stadium from 2012 to 2015.
No, we had a great time there. It was our first real job as a management duo, apart from the youth team at Preston. But there was a lot of faith shown in us when we first took the job, and a lot of support for us to be successful. Winning promotion was a fantastic feeling, and finishing in the top 10 the first season in League One for Fleetwood was great as well. Unfortunately, things went sour in the last couple of weeks, which is why I left. But I'm not going to let that last little period spoil what a great time I had at that club, and I'm proud of the job that we did there.
Steve Halsham is calling on his North Ferriby players to use their National League experience as a stepping stone to bigger and better things. Curtis Bateson, who was the club's last season, scored their first ever goal in the division on Tuesday's 6-1 defeat at Lincoln, and Halsham says he wants others to be equally impressed.
We've got some players there that could use this as a stepping stone to move on to bigger and better things. Yes, we'd love them to play at Ferriby and do the best they can for North Ferriby, and they will do. But some of them can move on to bigger and better things, and I'm sure they will one day. But like you say, we'll have to, wait and see. But I'm delighted to get off the board for a goal, and it's a well-taken goal by Curtis.
On to rugby now. Hull FC are at Widnes Vikings tonight as they look to bounce back from last week's defeat against Castleford. Winger Mehe Fununa returns to the side after missing last week's game with concussion, sustained during the Challenge Cup semi-final. The former Melbourne Storm player says he's raring to go after being a frustrated onlooker in the stands last Friday. Meanwhile, tonight's host a warning of major roadworks around the Select Security Stadium that may delay fans en route to the game, which kicks off at 8 p.m. Across the city, Hull Kingston Rovers are preparing to take on Leeds Rhinos tomorrow night. James Webster has named one change in their squad, with Kevin Leroya replacing Joe Cater, whilst Leeds recalls Steve Ward to their 19-man squad. That's it for tonight.
That's just about it for tonight, I'm afraid. Just time to toast and celebrations in order to the Boys Store in Grimsby, which today celebrates a staggering 60 years in business. It's been a staple part of the Freeman Street retail area for 60 years in the town. And the store started back in 1956, selling heavy drapery, hosiery and dress fabrics as well as wool. Business went well, and in 1958, Boys bought Freeman Street for a very modest £8,650. Here's to the next 60 years. If you have a news story, then please visit our Facebook or Twitter pages or email news@estuary.tv or phone Grimsby, which is Grimsby number 01472 31553. That's 01472 31553. You can also put pen to paper and write to us at Estuary TV, Nuns Corner, Laceby Road, Grimsby, North East Lincolnshire, DN 345BQ. As always, we look forward to hearing from you. Thank you very much to Lily Keane for joining me on the sofa today, and as always, thank you for watching. Join me same time tomorrow when I'll be reviewing the week's local papers with my guest, Dr. Alec Gill, MBE. Friday the 19th of August is World Photography Day. If you have any snaps you'd like to send in to us, then please get in touch in the usual way. Until tomorrow, from all of us on the team, have a very good Thursday evening. See you tomorrow live at 5:30. Bye-bye.
With university courses on your doorstep, there's lots of reasons to study at the University Centre Grimsby. Sponsored by the University Centre Grimsby.
Good evening and welcome to Estuary TV's weather. Occasional light rain or drizzle over hills will generally clear during the evening, then becoming mainly dry overnight with some clear spells developing, mainly in the east. Gusty westerly winds continuing, especially over the hills, and a minimum temperature of 13 degrees for tonight. Tomorrow we will see some dry and variable cloud with warm sunny periods. Some patchy rain is expected over the hills in the north during the evening and for times overnight. Brisk and gusty southwest winds and a maximum temperature of 21 degrees.
With university courses on your doorstep, there's lots of reasons to study at the University Centre Grimsby. Sponsored by the University Centre Grimsby.